Okay, today is 420, April 26th, 2026, and the time is 3:34 a.m. Let's get started with today's video. Okay, so, today we are just runecrafting and talking about a dream that I had. It's a very bizarre dream. Yeah, it was an absolutely, bizarre dream. I experienced nothing like it. But it was in in a dystopian world set in South Korea, and it, as you can imagine, the dream probably might have carried some bit of parallel to the current state of Korea if you are into that. But yeah, there might be a little bit of overlap so there might be a little bit of overlap. Excuse me. So yeah. Anyways, I just woke up probably an hour ago and came to this realization that our dreams carry the power to inspire wild things. Honestly, the more and more I think about it, it just seems more and more. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to say. But goodness, it's hard to say out loud right now. But if I could only inspire this kind of thinking to someone else, and I don't know if I could do that though. I don't know if I could do that. Well, what it felt like it was it's kind of had parallels to a Japanese soldier fighting in the Philippines decades after World War II had ended, who simply had never gotten the news of how Japan had lost the war. And it had similar undertones to that, my dream. So except this parallel involved an American soldier in South Korea fighting for dear life for whatever reason in a rapidly changing economy in South Korea. So this setting of South Korea had obviously been undergoing many economic changes throughout the 20th century, and by design or by some sort of, I don't know, by some sort of by the miracle in the Han River. He kind of witnessed everything from the lens of an American standpoint, and this is why the war had continued for all these decades, for all the decades that it has been, because Korea had been essentially tumultuous by nature, by economic nature, and I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Witnessing it from an outsider's perspective, experiencing all the changes, probably inspired some sort of voice that I had been yet to hear all my life. And yeah, the amount of yeah, so anyways, the parallel back to the American soldier who had decided to stay in Korea after the war, you know, to the compared to a similar parallel to the Japanese soldier fighting the Philippines for whatever reason, knowing the entire geography and just making his way through the Philippines and shit, and just like doing, just full on, just like fucking like sending war in the Philippines and in a different, I don't know, I wouldn't know because like I don't have enough information about the Philippines to be able to like come to it like a politically correct make any politically correct statements about it. So it's just like like it just drives me crazy, knowing that like I haven't the reality of not being very well traveled, and it certainly is a parallel to be thinking about, and it felt really trippy when I woke up, and for good reason too, because exactly like this stuff is hard to put into words. You know, um, could have inspired some sort of more of a Korean standpoint, but point of the matter is that I think it's important to say that the U.S. Air Force had been withdrawing certain planes, certain fighter jets from the country of South Korea in this particular dream, and it was wild to me because like to a shrimp like South Korea, to a shrimp like South Korea, the United States have been practically guaranteeing its freedom, acting as a deterrent to the country of North Korea after all this time. And so what is important about this particular thing is that this Trumpian idea of American isolationism is not only done in part with like how information is being distributed throughout the Koreas, but also the fact that, goodness, like like these were key fighter jets, that had once occupied South Korea and are no longer there because of the Trump regime, doing things up. I know it's crazy to think that the job could still be going. And yes, that is true, but like when costs are just so when the costs are being allocated towards something else, there becomes a little bit of a problem with like how allies of the past, the conflicts of the past, had come to transpire as they did today. And so what I mean by the withdrawal of those particular fighter jets lies in the truth of the matter that America is divesting in various parts of the world and allocating their focus into some other pressing issues. And why that might be a problem is obviously because of the weapon, happens to be there, but Korea's got plenty of its own, but it's just like, I don't know, it's hard to say. Definitely hard to say, but it's just like this American soldier being alone for all his life, possessing all this information that not many others did. So I stayed in Korea for extended periods of time, running into randos such as myself. It wasn't from the perspective of me. I knew who I was in the dream. And it wasn't from the perspective of the American soldier staying in Korea or the Japanese soldiers staying in the Philippines. And so, you know, well, that's the point of like kind of dreams. They make you think, right? I'm not gonna explain the purpose of a dream. I'm not really gonna do that. Anyways, it's very current. It's always the dream. It's always the dream. You know, trying to keep my head clear amidst all of this nonsense is kind of really damning to my image, but it should be fine. It should be fine knowing that, you know there are probably others who have probably adopted a similar perspective, living abroad as an American expat. Because living in the Americas is definitely unlike any other experience that probably, you know the kind, right? Oh, fucking know. I don't know if I can be totally 100% serious, but it's difficult because it's difficult to wrap my head around with the existence of America nowadays because of how far we have fallen, allowing Trump to win twice. Well, goodness, is it tough? Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. But it's a very harsh reality, knowing that we needed this man to win twice, and the fact that he had just been threatened. Hearing apparent gunshots at whatever rally he was at. Not rally, but dinner. It was a dinner, so that was a ruined dinner. But can we come to terms with the fact that people almost died in that incident? I don't even know if I can do that anymore. That's the realer part. It's I'm losing feeling, and it's brutal. The absence of feeling really seems to be quite damning to the psyche, because this leads us to weirder interpretations of how our realities are perceived and shit. So it's just so it's definitely something to think about, and something I should totally be arrested for. Pillory guard. Pillory guard, Mr. Person of Interest. I believe you're the person of interest, pillory guard, for wanting to don this this career as a pillory guard in this medieval clicking game. I don't know. You don't even know how much this game fucking means to me. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy how much I love this game. Fuck. Just rune crafting for hours on end. I don't do that anymore, admittedly, but today's a very special day, because I am going to reach 101 rune crafting. 101 rune crafting, the slowest skill in the game, finally being able to it's dope though. It's dope. It's cool for sure. It's cool. It's cool. Oh, but the same can be said for like many other countries, you know, with their economic development, particularly in the Asian bloc. You know, particularly in the Asian bloc, like they all experience rapid economic growth and are still continuing to do so. And it's just like, what the hell is the limit to like all of this stuff? We just learned how to build skyscrapers like, probably like over a century ago. And look at us now. Like, this is crazy. Viewing it from an Asian perspective is really, really damning. But like at the same time, it's like very humbling. You know? You know, okay. And also I said I know I would have probably like wanted to runecraft on on leagues, but I'm not yet because I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet on leagues, so I think I'll have to continue. Doing this for now. Hey, but on the good side, the good news is that Trump is giving a lot of Americans a break, and for service members, that's a huge, huge thing. Coming back home, you know, that's a reality that many people have to face, is that they'll leave and they'll never come back. But, you know, having the prospect of being able to come back is huge, actually. So, well-deserved break, a well-deserved applause to you. It is, then. So, yeah. Quite cool now, isn't it? But, you know, like, think that, you know, the U.S. stood as gods amidst a shrimp of a people, literally. Like, the economic powerhouse that Korea became had been nothing like compared to like what it was before, honestly. So, to what it was before, and I know that because my grandfather had been seeing like all the distraught 80s dystopian rhetoric since the 80s, and saw an opportunity to leave, and he took it. And that's why we're here, basically. Right. And of course, everything I probably said today wasn't something I had previously thought before, albeit in a long time, because like I'm still just room crafting, so I'm just room crafting. Okay, so I'm gonna get a ton of hate for thinking like that. a ton of hate for thinking that like everything had been fine and dandy until fine and dandy, yeah, until had been fine until just until Trump had been elected twice. I don't know. It's concerning how much I little how much I know, because I don't know. I don't think there's any particular excuse for like how little like I feel like how I don't know. How strongly I felt about like how close we were to war in the Asian bloc. Again, like it's the reallocation of funds and finances all to like a different place so that we could focus our energy elsewhere where tensions are most high and where war is most likely. And that's assuming the apparatus even has time to keep up and like to re-express my interest and like continuing to share information about this kind of topic is the window's really closing, because like there's only so much more I could talk about. And we're running out of time, so you're not really running out of time yourself. Sorry. Goodness. When you're talking for 30 minutes on end, you would be so tired. The recording only says there's 22 minutes, What if that lost bag from Guardians of the Rift could be attached to the runecraft cape? What if that could happen? Sounds like a terrible idea, but sounds like a fucking terrible idea. Sucks that I have to get another dye for to dye the Temple of the Eye amulet and the lost bag that I am missing. I'm not trying to go back to Gord, but getting the pet is likely. Yeah, so this particular, what is it? What is that relic? The map of a alacrity. I think the map of alacrity. That one was finding out which part of this shortcut was more advantageous. According to lore, must have been very challenging. Because here you would have access. You would have access to all of Shiloh Village, which is a very good low-level place. But then again, this agility shortcut does require 79 agility. But on the other side, you would have access to the nature altar. So I have yet to know. Where exactly it does teleport you to. So I don't know. I don't know which side of the shortcut will teleport you to, but I'll find out soon. Find out soon enough. We'll find out soon enough. Alright. I told myself at one point, this is a cut, but alright, I'll say it anyways. But I mean, it's not a cut, but like there's a cut, there's a time passing through time kind of thing. But oh shit, there we go. Let's go. Virtual level 101. Let's go. Anyways, I once said the love of my life had been like, from this particular place I didn't feel too strongly about, because I worked like shit over there. But no. I just was not very proud of my particular penchant to like show up to work and just not be fully present, because the work was so demanding, and like I wasn't prepared most of the time to be able to like, understand like that this kind of work was just so demanding to me, and it was expecting a lot from me, like, just as an individual. But like the people I met there, the person I had like decided to call a friend was like absolutely fucking wild. Knowing there was a place for me, like what kind of privilege is this? Like, what the fuck? Why do I deserve this? This is crazy. It's crazy. Like, why would I deserve such a privilege to like be able to like do this? It's just like ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But it happened anyways, because she's like absolutely wonderful. I'm 29. I'm 29, and she's significantly younger than I am. Although, like, despite the age difference, like, I feel like no. Because of the age difference, I feel like we shouldn't be possible. But I don't know. It's all vibes at the end of the day. It's all vibes at the end of the day. But like, I still think it would happen, surprisingly enough. And I'm praying for it to happen, but it's just difficult for me to be able to like place her in put her in words, because of the love I have for her. It's crazy. Like, this person is like slowly becoming my world. But like, it's not gonna happen though. I'm kind of like in the interim period in which like, people like try to figure themselves out and like, move on, and like, or maybe that moving on part has already happened, but I wouldn't know. But goodness, it's so confusing right now. But like, like it is what it is at the end of the day, and this is where I should probably renew my interest once again for the next 2 months, see where it takes me, and GZ on 101 runecraft. 101 runecraft. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Anyways, the time is 4:06 a.m. The date is April 26, 2026. And I hope you all have a nice rest of your day.